Hey, it's Greg here with MaritimeGardening.com, and I got a little problem with one of my cold frames where the plants are just getting eaten and wiped out. I'm pretty sure it's voles, but I've also seen and caught moles in there as well. Anyway, regardless of what the cause is, there's nothing in nature right now in a cold frame that's going to sort that out. The only thing that's going to sort it out is me. So I'm going to show you a little trick I have worked out over the years for catching tough-to-catch rodents, assuming you've got the bait they want. And you just use these cheap little dollar store mousetrap type deals. The basic mousetrap that everyone's trying to build a better one on. You don't need to build a better mousetrap. You just need to modify it a bit. And I have found that if you just take your bait, I find bread works really well, even for moles, which are supposed to be carnivores. They eat like grubs and worms and stuff like that. I have caught moles with bread lots of times. So. And I'll talk more about that later on. Why am I? What do I care about this in my garden? I'll speak more about that later in this video. I'm just going to show you the technique right now. This will work anywhere if you've got it in your house or whatever. You get a little piece of string. I find something that's yarn-like, something that's fluffy, is good because even if they don't like your bread or your bait, they're going to be drawn to the string, because it's good nesting material, especially if it's woolly in some way, because, you know, just like if you're making a bed, you want something that's soft and fluffy and insulative and that sort of thing. So even if they don't like your bait, they'll like the string. So you just cut off a little piece of bait about the size of the end of your pinky, and you tie it on. That's pretty much the trick, right? You don't want your piece of string to be too long. You don't want the tag ends, right, the two ends of the string, hanging out beyond the business end of the trap, right? Because if they go for the string instead of the bread or the bait, you want their face to be in the danger zone, so to speak, so it gets them. If you've got this kind of trap here with this plastic, I don't know, it looks like a piece of cheese, I guess. That yellow part there is called a trigger on the back, or I would call that a trigger. This one has holes in it, so you can just fish the string through. I mean, you got to find some way to attach it reasonably well. You could tape it on. I've also used elastic bands, but I think they're more drawn to the string because it's a good nesting material. Why not offer them more value, sort of thing, right? So if your trap doesn't have holes in the trigger like that, you can just drill them through. Or if you don't have a drill, just heat up a nail and melt a hole through. That works really well. And you just put your bread on there and tie it on. That's the general idea. Now, why am I doing this in my garden? I'm a permaculture gardener, and most of the year, all summer long, I don't bother with anything like this. I have garter snakes, and I've got toads, and I've got birds, and there's all kinds of predators, owls, all those sorts of things. But my garden backs onto a large wild area, and during the regular growing season, the predators sort out everything else, and there's a reasonably good balance of predator and prey in the garden, and I don't have to worry about things like that. But right now I'm growing food, or let me put it another way, I was growing food because it's all been destroyed in my cold frame. I don't exactly know why, but the whatever rodent is doing its work in there, it's killing the chard, eating it, not just the leaves, it's eating the roots and everything. So I don't know if that's a mole, because as far as I know, my understanding of moles, they're not herbivores, they're carnivores. So perhaps a mole is just using that root as an easy way to get a tunnel in the ground. Or a vole has found its way into my cold frame using a vole tunnel, which I've read happens, and there's a vole in there. Now, since I've started laying these traps out, I've caught 3 moles in here. I started this over a week ago, and I think the first 3 days I got a mole every day in the trap. So, I'm not showing this on YouTube because, not everyone wants to see a dead animal of any kind on YouTube, but you can just have to trust me. Since I started this, I've caught 3 moles 3 days in a row, and then I think it's been 4 days since I caught anything. Maybe, I'm sure I didn't eliminate all the moles in my garden. Fairly large garden, and it's connected to a field, but I think what I've done is eliminated a handful of moles that had found their way into my cold frame for now. I mean, using approaches like this in a natural system like this, you never eradicate little things like that. They're always around. you know, what you want is a balanced ecosystem that manages itself. But this time of year, there's no owls, there's no snakes, there's no nothing. I'm the thing. If I want to grow things in a glass box, right, which is kind of really not completely in tune with nature. But anyway, if I want to sort of break the rules and use the sun to heat up a piece of ground, I have to provide the balance if something gets in there and it's taking it out. So that is why I'm setting traps in my cold frame. But as you can see from your point of view, there's really not much growing in there. There was stuff growing in here, and the Swiss chard is just gone. And even I had parsley in there, and that seems to have been chewed right down. I mean, the greenery was chewed right down to the ground, and then they just kept going, get right down the roots. There still is some kale in here. You can't see it, but there's kale plants. I don't think there's no sign to me that they've been chewed on, but the kale is still alive, but all the leaves died from just we just had a lot of extreme, not extreme, but cold, double-digit below 0 days with no sun, and so you had multiple days where the kale was frozen, and I think it just dehydrated. But the plant's still alive and it's starting to come back. Anyway, that's what I'm going on with that. I hope you found that interesting, and it gave you, if you're having trouble with a rodent, that's a way to catch it. If you found this video interesting, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com, and until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.